Our United Way Spotlight of the Week is on our campaign chair for this year, Jane Lapointe. So glad you came in today.
Hi, Donna. Thank you for having me back.
And congratulations on a successful campaign.
Thank you.
You were over by about $20,000.
Yeah, we raised a total in our community of $3,820,000, surpassing our goal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And a little earlier, too, than I would have. Sometimes it doesn't quite get there until a little bit later.
Yeah, you never know. It takes a whole community, and there's always different influences that adjust the timing of that.
So where does the majority of the money come from?
Right here in our community, and I would say over 60% of it is coming from workplaces. So that's individuals that are donating through their workplace, whether that's a one-time gift or through payroll deduction, is about 60% of that campaign total. And the other part is from individual donors.
Okay, wow. So you've had to pivot in the last few years, and the United Way has done a great job of recognizing need. Instead of saying, you know, well, this is the money's already allocated, too bad. Instead, they really did a great job of pivoting. So I know that the pandemic is not behind us. Can't say that just yet. But are things turning around? Do you see a different direction?
Well, what we're seeing now is the cost of living increases, and that is really impacting those that are more vulnerable in our community. So you and I know everything is costing more to heat our homes, to drive our cars, to feed ourselves. But for those that are more vulnerable, it's a larger percentage of their budget. So it's costing and impacting them even more. We're seeing high demand for food, help with food.
Okay. So what are some of the groups, charities that you will be supporting for sure with this money?
So there are a lot of groups in the community, and there's huge partnerships. The one thing that I was really, sometimes people say to me, what is it that surprised you most and about the role that I've just come through? And it really is the level of partnership and collaboration we see in the community. So the food groups specifically, and over the last couple of years through a partnership with the city, Lionhearts, the United Way, the Food Sharing Group, they all came together and have developed the food distribution warehouse just off of Sir John A. Macdonald, and that is allowing us to accept larger donations, and there's big freezer space there, and from there the food can go out to all of the different groups that are involved, from feeding seniors through food boxes to putting school programs together to individual families. It's really a huge web of groups that are involved.
It was such a great idea on so many levels, and I know it was the United Way that spearheaded the whole thing. I remember that, because before it seemed like Martha's Table and Lunch by George and places like that, they're going out and they're hustling their own food all the time. So much of their energy went into just getting the food, but now it's all central. And the other thing that occurred to me, manufacturers will sometimes donate something with even the wrong packaging those kinds of things. And to not have every group going after them.
That's right. And they have the storage for it now, and they have the freezer space for it now, whereas before they didn't. If it wasn't used, it sometimes just had a shelf life. So this has really been incredible for our community.
You know, they say for food prices, buy seasonal. Yeah, good luck in January. Like, what the heck is seasonal in January?
That's right.
I mean, come on. It's frozen all the way for most of us.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it was a wonderful idea. The food bank is also another area where they're strapped. They're talking about people, first-time users, people who used to be donators to it, and now they're recipients of it.
That's right. And I just heard a stat today that pre-pandemic it was 1 in 4 students that were at risk of going to school hungry. That's now 1 in 3. So we are really seeing a vulnerability there in our community. It's affecting people that are working but just can't make ends meet.
Yeah. And kids are not getting enough. And you know, the other thing, we used to think that if someone was not getting enough to eat, that they would be you know, skinny and frail. And that is not the case.
No.
They're filling up on things that are like pastas and inexpensive bread.
Don't have nutritional value.
Exactly. They just fill your belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and they can't. None of us can think properly. You know, we think, I always say, you know, you think about how difficult it is to get through a hard day sometimes. We all have those days. And then I try and layer it with thinking about, what if I was hungry and having to get through that same day? Or what if I wasn't sure where I was going to sleep tonight? Or my family or children, you know, what would that be like? And those are the types of decisions some of these families are facing in a day.
I've heard that they're missing meals themselves, that it comes down, groceries or rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I really do also need to speak about those workers at the frontline agencies that are the partners with the United Way, and they're the ones that are really working with these people. They're providing the programs, and they themselves have been through this pandemic, and we're seeing that they're tired. They didn't get to take time off. They didn't get to work from home. They had to keep being out there in the community and providing service. And us raising this money, it is for the, you know, in 2021, it was 74,000 people in our community that benefited from the United Way and these partner agencies. But it's also to say to those agencies, our community is behind you, and to all of those people that are working on the front lines delivering that service. They're tired, but we're here with them. We stand with them.
That's big, to know that you're not out there standing in an island and no one else really quite understands. That's huge. Now, I know there's people out there, because times are tight, even when you're holding down a paying job. Times are tough for a lot of people. You also run the volunteer aspect of volunteering in Kingston. Is this a good way for people to give back?
Oh, definitely. So I always say the United Way is this an unbelievable platform, whether you want to volunteer time or you want to donate money. And by coming to the United Way, there's always a spot for you to do both. So if somebody is interested in volunteering or donating, they can go just to the general website, United Way, KFL&A.ca, and there's a button there to donate. So even though we've reached our goal, we know that our community's in need, and there's always room for more dollars, or to donate, or to volunteer as well. And the United Way could help somebody find an agency that's looking for help and is a right fit for whatever it is they are interested in.
That is such a great service. And it's really any agency, not just United Way, but any agency that you think you'd like to get involved in. It's a good way to make that connection.
Yeah.
This has been terrific, and again, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Donna, and I always so much appreciate how much you spotlight the United Way and our community. We really appreciate your support as well.
I love it because I learned so much myself.
It's the best part, really, isn't it?
It really is. It's best kept secret.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Donna.